In the final part of our interview with David Coates, a retired managing partner at KPMG and member of the Vermont Business Roundtable, we look at why the state faces a declining workforce and ranks at the bottom for wages and benefits. Vermont ranks 49th in the nation for private sector total compensation. This includes wages and benefits. The state's workforce has shrunk by 15,000 since 2009. Now, critics like Vermont state auditor say that out-migration is a normal trend. People prefer warmer states, especially retirees, and so the declining workforce is not, quote, due to Vermont-specific policies. Do you agree?
Not really, not at all, as a matter of fact. I think the declining workforce is a lot of factors at play.
Okay.
Number one, you look at the fact that over the last 10 years, we've had a 25% decrease in high school graduates.
Okay.
I mean, that's a lot of people now that aren't in the system.
Right.
Employers are begging for workers, trained workers, and we can't provide them because people are leaving the state of Vermont. And when you look at data, actual data for the last 5 years, from the IRS, we have a net migration of people, tax filers, leaving the state of Vermont, taking with them $270 million of adjusted gross income.
Wow.
And that equates, in my calculations, to at least $30 million a year that we are losing from that group. Over 4,000 tax filers have left in that last 5 years. And I look at 2017 data, which should be coming out soon, which will continue that. Now, going back 10 years ago, what I think the auditor is referring to was about right. About as many would come in and as many would leave.
Okay.
So it was about a zero at the end.
Okay.
However, now it's gone the other way, and I think that trend will only continue because of the affordability in Vermont, as well as the federal tax policies that went into effect last year and things like that.
And so there are Vermont-specific policies, like you said. We talked about the unfunded liabilities. Someone has to pay that. It seems like in the 90s, the legislature did not completely fund it, and so they've kicked the can down the road. And so now future Vermonters don't want to have to carry that extra burden. Then we have Act 250, which has been shackling the hands of commerce and is anti-economic development in many ways, because it's not just about giving entry-level jobs. You want to have careers. You want young people to be able to have careers, save money, buy a house.
Sure.
And the high cost of living, the overvalued housing market, and then education spending. All these things are Vermont-specific policies, right?
Well, yes, we rank very high on a per capita basis on many of the things you just said.
Right.
But just as an example, Meg.
Yes.
If you go back to the last legislative session, paid family leave.
Yes.
Now, that failed to take into account, in my opinion, the fact that we have multi-state companies in Vermont that have policies already, not policies as rich, if you want to use that word, as the one that was contemplated, particularly by the House.
Yeah.
And to the extent something like that is forced on those employers, where do you think they're going to grow? They aren't going to grow in Vermont.
That's right.
And I know examples of those.
Are there any statistics that support the out-migration?
There are a lot, but I think probably the most important one, other than the IRS that I mentioned, is the VPR poll, the Vermont Public Radio poll that happened, I think, last January.
Okay.
And they polled the state, and 9% of the people they polled said they were definitely leaving the state of Vermont. And another 4% said that they likely would.
Okay.
Now, when you break that down between the 18-year-olds to the 44-year-olds, the prime people that we need for our workforce,
The future of our state.
the future of our state,
Yeah.
21% said that they were definitely leaving the state of Vermont, and another 10 said they were unsure, but they likely would. Now, that's devastating, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Right. So can we end this on a positive note? Is there a silver lining at all?
Well, the silver lining is acknowledge that, try to make Vermont more affordable. As the governor says, it's better to have more tax filers than to have more taxes.
That's right. I agree. Thank you. Thank you.
When Yankee Chronicle returns, I'll visit with Gage Fleming, the assistant manager here at Village Sports. Please don't go away.